Life is a disease. A millennium ago, a supreme necromancer was on the verge of conquering the world. But you know what they say about best laid plans. Inevitably, heroes shall emerge. So, I was made dead. Again. But what does death really mean for somebody who has mastered it, Boredom. An eternity to ponder my errors and how close I came to victory. I am a mortal, but when this world ends, even I will know oblivion. And so, I ask myself, will I be given another chance to rise before it happens? Another chance to fulfill my ambition? It seems that fate has smiled after all.
Hello again, folks, and welcome to a new Let's Play. This is Iratus, Lord of the Dead. It is a hardcore tactical roguelike game. Apparently, according to this, it is difficult and your minions will likely die, and don't think they are expendable just because they're already dead. Every fight is a challenge, and the resources are always limited. Enemies are strong and show no mercy towards their undead opponents. You'll need to play smart and adjust your strategies for difficult encounters and enemy types. In short, be prepared to spend several hours mastering the game to achieve victory and bring death to the mortal lands. So for those that are not familiar with Iratus, Lord of the Dead, and I apparently have the Wrath of the Necromancer expansion, this is a game very heavy on resource management and plays very much like Darkest Dungeon. You might be thinking to yourself, no, why don't you just play Darkest Dungeon? Because, I want to play something else besides Darkest Dungeon. But yeah. Iratus, Lord of the Dead. We play as Iratus, the titular character. He was the Lord of the Dead. He is a necromancer of some great power. Unfortunately, he's been locked away for several thousand years, I think, and has lost a good chunk of his power, and now has to rise once more. We played the baddie, is pretty much what I'm trying to say. Now, I would play on normal difficulty. This is more pain. This normal difficulty, perfect for challenge takers. Normal starting sources, normal battle rewards, stronger enemies, some elite enemies in normal battles. Enemies can get inspired, less vigor recovery for minions out of battle. We'll get into that when we get into that. Iratus recovers less mana out of battle. Also, we'll get into that. And normal graveyard efficiency. Unfortunately, as I've not completely played this game before, I've only ever played the demo of it some 3-4 years back, I think. Shut up, phone. I'm not completely familiar with this game. I think I've beaten the demo and that was about it. So instead we will be playing on Cakewalk because that is the only one that will actually allow me to use the tutorial, which is kind of stupid. What's different between Cakewalk and More Pain? A mode for beginners. Call me out like that, why don't you? Or starting resources, battle rewards, weakened enemies, no elite enemies in normal battles, enemies cannot become inspired, average vigor recovery for minions out of battle, and average mana recovery for Iratus out of battle, and graveyard efficacy increased. I will be playing with a save mode, which allows for quick save and quick loads. I don't know how often I'll actually be using it, but it will save me automatically at the start of each floor, which again, we will get into that. And we'll start. Evil has returned. The dread necromancer Iratus has attained his freedom after a millennia of imprisonment, and the miners gathered around his tomb still do not know the mortal danger they have stumbled upon. Their bodies will lay the foundation for an army of the dead that will conquer the world. Rise! Minion abilities. Each minion has 5 basic abilities and 1 ultimate. To use the ultimate ability, you need a special resource, Wrath. Minions and enemies can use certain abilities only from specific positions and with specific targets. So say you're in position 1, say you have a move that tells you can only use a move on position 1, but you can only target positions 1 and 2 on the enemy side. That's pretty much what that means. And look at this. Look at this art style. Freaking love it. Don't know why. I just do. So, for example, we have Unassuming Strike for our skeleton. Yes, that is a skeleton. You can move it at positions 2 and 1, and it deals 22 damage, 100%, to positions 1, 2, 3, and 4. Also, the biggest boon is that it ignores armor. Now, we can also look at the enemy stats over to the side here. We got Honky. Funny, I would have thought that this guy would have been named Honky. Who's got attack powers, got some brains, his accuracy, his evasion, which he has none of, his luck, which is the chance of him landing a critical hit, armor, resistance, which is like armor, but it's against magical attacks, which I believe our second ally here, the Banshee, is going to be able to do. We got block percentage, doesn't have any of that. Block percentage or ward for magical attacks, and initiative. Kind of sucks. So yeah, it's got none of that going on. We can tell our minions to move left and right. It costs some mana to do that, and as you can see in the middle, we have none. And there's Wrath at the very bottom. Look at that number. That is so hidden right down here. But that is for our ultimate ability, which we cannot yet do. So, these guys who have 35 and 55 health, we will use Unassuming Strike on the miner. Look at that, full ass animation. Damage! Physical and magic, indicated by red and blue, reduces the target's vigor, the heart. Igniting enemies, igniting deals instant magic damage to the target and true damage at the start of their turn. So think of it as damage over time. Stress damage increases the sanity, decreases the sanity of the target. That's it. That's sanity, not brains. Cursing a target will deal stress damage at the start of its turn. So again, damage over time, but for stress. And critical hits by your minions decreases an enemy's sanity. Enemy critical hits will increase it. Sweet. So I think, yeah, the sanity is indicated by the purple bar on the bottom here. And then there's a chance to escape where the enemy will simply try to run away. So we have our Banshee character who will do stress attack damage, which is neat. I think it works much like stress in DD, where if you reach 100, you just die. But we are going to do a Soprano. Deals 8 stress to all creatures. All the enemies lose 6 attack for their next action, doesn't stack. Sanity. Loss of sanity can lead to various consequences. Negative effect that weakens the enemy, that's insanity. Inspiration, a positive effect that strengthens the enemy. Death. Receiving any amount of stress while at 0 sanity can lead to instant death. And then flee from combat. At low levels of sanity, an enemy on the outermost position, over here, of the combat row has a chance to flee from combat. And of course they can attack back. I shifted will kill me before you do. Wow, sound like a resale worker. Murder. So it seems like in general, you want to try to do as much physical damage as you can to the dudes on the outer side, because they are more likely to run away with a lower sanity, but do more damage of stress variety to those on the inside. But again, you get situations like this where this guy suddenly is on the outside because that's what the ability does. It pushes. And yeah, during the combats, you do have a certain sort of ebb and flow of where characters are. So this guy had an attack that could push me. Let's see, what was it? Your attack. Nope. Yeah, go ahead and murder this guy.
One more for the stockpiles.
Yeah, not as good as a voice acting as over narration as the ancestor from PD, but Oh yeah. Chance of enemies to escape increases by 2% of each turn until it reaches 10. Does not stack. Skeleton is immune to all buffs and debuffs. Okay, so I think that's kind of the skeletons thing. They're cheap, but insanity. Done bonked my banshee. How dare. Let's see, deals 50%, performs additional attacks for each buff on the target. Does it count for debuffs? Not going to be able to tell, seeing as it's now dead. Victory! And with every victory, we get spoils, which come in the form of dust, weapons, armor, blood, bones, ectoplasm, flesh, skulls, hearts, and rags. And this is our main hub, as it were, just having Iratus kind of stare down at us eerily. Anyways, we now have to create 2 minions. So how we do that? Go to creation. After gathering parts from his defeated foes, Iratus can create new members for his army. Using parts of uncommon, rare, or legendary quality increases the amount of stat points of the created minion. With time, Iratus will acquire new minion recipes as well as various combat tactics. So we want to craft 2 allies, and we, as you can see, have a veritable smorgasbord of possible dudes that we can make here. Each one of them has different roles and different capabilities. We have, like, the zombie. Zombies were considered little more than fodder troop by the other necromancers. It took a true visionary to release that realize that a mindless mass of undead muscle can be used for more than simply bashing the heads of mortals. With a bit of technological assistance, these rotting hulks were turned into mobile artillery capable of carrying and shooting cannons that would normally need several humans to operate. I love this. I'm gonna go for it if I've got the stuff for it, and I do. We just need a weapon, some armor, a little bit of blood, and some flesh.
Time to bring out the big guns.
And that gives us 1 zombie. We need 1 other dude, however. We could make a lich. But yeah, we also have effects and abilities that we can look into for each of the characters. So as you can see, we got abilities for the zombie. Volley, which will deal basically magical damage against 1 creature of your selection. Buckshot, which is a close range one, hits damage to enemies on the chosen position and the next 2 positions in line. So you can use that to hit essentially 3 characters. Igniting Mixture. Ignition. Deals 25% of his attack damage to the enemies on position, chosen position, and next position in line. Sets targets on fire as magic damage, which is pretty nice. More powder. Buff. Zombie gains 100% damage for its next turn, but it will stack. Yes. Bombardment. Stance. At the start of its next turn, the zombie attacks 4 times, each time dealing 60% physical damage to a random remaining enemy. This attack does not consume its action. That's pretty neat. And then Cannonball. Now, as you'll see there's an arrow that shows that it moves back 1, and then there's another arrow on the enemy side that shows that it moves back 2. Physical attack deals 200% damage, and of course it will move the zombie back 1 space and the enemy back 2 spaces. And that is its Wrath ability, its ultimate. So, you know, when that finally comes into fruition, that'll be cool. You got skill points dependent on how intelligent it is, which is a brains thing, as well as gaining a skill point every 3rd level. Whew, there's a lot of talking. As well, when you spend these skill points, you can spend them in basically one of 2 paths for each of the skills. So, for example, volley becomes either accurate volley, where it does magic damage equal to 120% of the damage, as opposed to just 100. And then you got grand volley, which ignores ward, which for an attack is actually really damn good. Just ignoring armor is always a really good option. So that's a sample of what the zombie does. But I think we're going to move over to the Bride of Iratus, a design fashion by the arch necromancer himself. The bride uses only the best part to raise a deadly archer. Best part?
My undead tools can be made better, deadlier.
Thank you for that. Deadly archer with the unhealthy love of her creator. That love is then channeled into a burning desire to shoot out the eyes of anything that might try to get close to the one she worships. They are pretty much, as far as I know, yeah, pretty cool. Chest piercer. She is, as you can see, mostly a character that sits in the back. 100% strength attack damage, but will also deal 175% damage on a crit. Ignition deals 70% and sets the target on fire for 2 turns. That's pretty cool. Overwatch. Yep, when an enemy moves, deals 60% physical damage to this. I think with this, though, is that it's even when you force them to move. So you could just constantly push a character that's on the front line back, and she will, you know, pelt him with arrows. Think of him, buff. The bride gains 10 attack and 10 dread until the battle ends. Dread being essentially the stat for how much stress damage she will do. Stress attack deals 100% stress and interrupts stances, which is pretty neat. And then her ultimate ability, Rose for a Lady. Physical attack deals 50% damage to all characters, but it will also inflict a critical hit. I'm pretty sure that that's a thing specifically for her. Oh, we can also just press this fill button if we have all the stuff.
Her heart beats only for me. I crafted it that way.
Kind of toxic, bruh. And then we'll start combat. Open up the map. The kingdom has need of a vast riches buried underneath the castle. Great veins of ore that promise to fuel conquest after conquest, along with ancient artifacts from the long-forgotten age. Dwarves were eager to offer their services in this project, bringing their untested mining equipment and experimental concoctions for the promise of wealth. They only needed bodies that could obey and that the humans could provide. With dungeons filled to the rim with both criminals and rebels, there was no shortage of slaves to work their mines. Drugs were used to keep them docile as they dug ever deeper, year after year, unaware of the mortal danger that awaited them below. And here you see what is going on. We got ourselves a big map that you can basically plan forward to and do unto battles and find fountains of restoration, a grave where you can unlock more minions, so on and so forth. It's all a little intense. But we're going to go ahead. Choose the only path ahead of us. That of a Necromancer. Some enemies possess unique features that either strengthen or weaken them. Study the features of your minions and your enemies so that you can fight more efficiently. Now, I had done a stupid and not really looked at what it is that the what my allies can, or position my allies rather. So skeleton here is all the way in the back when he should be in the front. My archer and my zombie are in the front when they should be in the back. But luckily, there are some enemies that do in fact have abilities that will allow them to move.
You belong in the grave.
Now we could have her chill out here. Warning shot, cause some stress and move a dude back, or just shoot a dude. Let's shoot a dude. You are ignited. Ow. Now is my bunch's turn. But yeah, you can also see their armor and their ward right here. When a Taskmaster dies, his allies recover 30 sanity. Okay, so we should be murdering this guy first. Let's see. 8 stress to everyone, or up to 20 for one. There it is. Armor. Receiving physical damage is decreased by the amount of armor that the target has. Received magical damage is decreased by the amount of resistance that the target has. Block expended to completely nullify the next physical attack. And then ward. Expended to completely nullify the next magical or stress attack. So because he had a ward on, he did not take any sanity damage. You know what? More powder, Mr. Zombie. Then we got this guy who decides to slap us. Good on you, sir. You don't have any buffs on you. Actually, wait. Would it work on you? Yeah, that works. The stress attack, or just light someone on fire. Ow. Ow. I suppose the only problem I really have with the Banshee is that if you have a full line of physical attackers, then it's a little bit just a little but I think we're gonna go with this attack, which debuffs him. Now he has a buff that allows him to do an additional 2 or 100% more damage with his next attack. How much damage is that? 32? Yeah, that's pretty good. And I think I don't want him to run away, so we'll pretty much just
Brave are an excellent source of fresh corpses.
yeah. You deal nothing to me. And now he is insane. If he takes one more point of stress, any stress whatsoever, he dies. We're gonna go ahead and have you buff again, just for the fun of it. And attack. Just the next dude will have been blasted.
Will be mine.
After winning a battle, Iratus receives rewards. Diggers' souls used to construct and improve buildings at the graveyard. Parts needed to craft minions. Artifacts can increase the power of your minions and Iratus himself. Brains used to quickly increase the levels of minions, and additionally, minions that did not participate in the battle restore a small amount of vigor according to the difficulty level. So, everyone gets a little bit of experience points and talent points. This shows, I think, the damage that they've taken. And then we got a bunch of our spoils. In this case, we also gain a secret destruction spell, Skullfall. One-time use deals 12 magic damage to all enemies. Sets them on fire for 3 turns, dealing 6 damage per turn. Spell power improves the ignition effect by 2%. And it also costs 22 mana. Yes. Now we can equip Iratus with an artifact. There are 4 main types of artifacts: weapon, armor, rings, and amulets. You will also encounter consumables, which artifacts only apply for 1 battle, after which they are spent. At the beginning of the game, Iratus receives 1 random artifact. In this case, got the Skull Fall, which we can use.
Now I will make mortals tremble before me. Well, even more than previously.
Yes. I'm going to try to get through the entirety of this tutorial bit, I promise. We also have a couple of characters that have talents, but it's preventing us from doing anything like that. We can go to the grave and recruit more dudes. We can go to this coffin, which is filled with items. We can go to the Fountain of Restoration and restore mana or vigor to minions. I think we're going to go to this ancient coffin, though. Oh, we want... Oh. Yeah, we want second brain.
With the rest.
And then we get into another combat. Did that thing again. Iratus possesses the following stats and resources. So we pretty much have this side, which is relegated to our minions, and then this side, which is relegated to anything Iratus can do. Mana. Needed to use talents for the magic, ire, and destruction trees. Mana is restored after every victory in combat, through minion abilities or via encounters on the map. Wrath. Needed to use ultimate abilities of your minions. Wrath increases during combat and resets after combat ends. Spell power. Increases the effectiveness of active Iratus talent, whereas gains 1 spell power point each level and can further increase it via artifacts, talents, minion abilities, and etc. So yeah, you'll see that I did that thing again. Alrighty. Let's give you a warning shot. That moves her back enough that I don't have to worry that much about her. Target gains 4 armor and 4 resistance until the battle ends. Marks a minion, has a 100% chance to redirect any attack that targets the marked minion to itself. Or smite. You got a buff.
Break their bones.
Excellent. And we got our Banshee. Whenever an enemy moves, Banshee deals stress to that. Or I could do... Oh, all minions gain red for the next attack. Keep on getting freaking phone calls from people I don't know. Invalid target? Stop hurting my big old zombie buddy. See what I say? Stop hurting him. Let's see. Ignition. Next position in line, or I can more powder. I think I'll just buckshot. Boom, baby. Bam. Ooh, traps. Abilities, the effects of which are limited to one specific position, depends on the specifics of the trap, and character occupying the position can receive negative or positive effects. They can be destroyed by certain abilities or overridden by another trap. So that was as a trap. I don't think she can just not move, which is a little bit whatever. Not entirely certain at this moment. Murder. Let's see. Oh, can we dread kill you? No, it would have to be a crit. Dude. Oh, wow. Harsh debuff. Lowers my accuracy by 30 points. Consider the following. Buckshot. Ew. I will say damage over time does suck. But since we got ourselves a nice little chance of using a rose for lady, we can do just that.
I didn't think it would be this easy.
Excellent. Yeah, I love when the enemy basically starts killing themselves. Just saying, it's hilarious. Let's see. Your sanities are low. Yeah, there we go. Ow. Let's see. More powder. And then I suppose we ought to start actually murdering these guys, huh? Just attack. Ah, could have sworn that would have killed him. Work it. Seriously, I thought it was... Target has a chance to die. Oh, a chance to die when receiving any amount of stress damage. Yeah, why not?
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Yeah. And this guy now has no longer any wards. So I can just basically go boo. And then of course boo. Now the biggest boon there was the debuff, so yes, stuff that cannon. Make room for big boom. Can we get off the final stressings before? Oh. Now we're out of those. Oh well. One last soprano. There it is.
Mine is the winning side.
Sweet. Experience points and talent points. Yeah, I really need to swap over through my dudes really quickly so as I stop doing the dumb. Now, we can unlock talents. Winning battles rewards Iratus with experience that increases his level. At each level, he receives talent points that can be used on the following ability trees. Alchemy will increase the efficacy of minions and resource economy. Bleh. Magic, spells that weaken foes and uses mana. Ire, spells that strengthen your minions but still also requires mana. And finally, Destruction, deals direct damage to enemies, requires mana to use. Now, I believe myself that a good old Necromancer should do the good old necromancy. So we're probably going to focus on talents. Chance to receive... yes. You basically need... Take this if you want to make it so as your minions themselves will be just flat out better. Restores 100% more mana using calcination. I'm not sure what calcination is. Advanced Doctorate. Minions restore 100% more vigor when Iratus uses distillation. Amateur Surgeon. Chance to receive uncommon or better parts by 25%. And Architecture Buff. Increases the amount of Digger's Souls received at the end of battle by 25%. So I think I'll go with Amateur Surgeon. And that unlocks the ability to unlock Surgical Practice. Increase chances to receive uncommon or better parts by 50%. Let's see. I just want to look at some of these other things. Increases the chance of receiving artifacts at the end of combat by 20. Saving a brain at the end of battle by 50. That's pretty good. But you'll see too that it gets exponentially more expensive the further you go down. 1 and 2 rank only costs 1, where level 3 costs 3 talent points generally, and level 4 costs 4 talent points. Go figure. That's our spell power here. This is our experience bar. Not entirely certain what distillation and calcination is. This is why I go through the baby difficulty.
The will becomes free.
No, wait. Costs 2 talent points. It did cost a talent point, so I shouldn't be able to take any of these. You know what?
The formulae reveal their secrets.
Calcination. To start battle, open the map. I would love to open up pretty much anything else at the same time, because there's a lot to go through. But we'll go ahead and go to this chest, a mythical chest containing artifacts. Select a boon. For each enemy killed in battle, Iratus gains 3% of the experience from the current level. First 2 turns of combat, minions receive 25% less damage, or Infused Dagger unlocks a secret destruction spell. Let's see, deals 50 plus 2 magic damage. Additionally, deals 100% damage if the target is stunned. Spell power increases damage dealt by 2%, and mana 20. Yeah, we're gonna take the Undertaker's robes. I should be able to equip there.
It embellishes my undead features.
Yeah, more experience points then. So the combats. Lots of just miners and their slave workers. Man, I thought Iratus was a slave worker. Let's see. They're both buffed. So, yeah, get rid of that. So we should be creating more minions. This is a fault on my behalf. Should be creating more minions. That way we can simply go, oh hey, this character's at 50% of their HP. I should probably, you know, fix that. And yet, I never shall. Or I shall, and it's just, you know. Gotta love how that damage changes exponentially depending on where it is that you're aiming at. What's your HP? 27? Yeah, I better start doing something to the dudes in the back. As a trap. More traps. Ugh. That's some damage. Well, murder.
Strongest annoyance in the world.
Ah, that guy's insane. Excellent. I wonder how much further we can make him insane before he dies. Exponentially. He now has an 11% chance to simply flee. Now, I should have... Let's see. Allies recover 30% insanity. Yeah. See if I can't get some good old insanity kills on some of them. Or... buff. Oh no, not the whip. Where there's a whip, there's a way. See. I do warning shot. There's a chance.
Oh, my darling, kill.
That the soprano of my banshee is gonna kill him. Woo. Soprano. There he goes. And both of these guys are insane. Lovely. Now, do I want to try to focus on More stressings. Bury me with boom. Good sir, how about instead you make a big bada boom? Excellent. Nah. Ah, yes. You gotta love when they're starting to deal damage to themselves. Alright. Alright, that costs 40 might, which we don't have. Or might? Wrath, that's the word for it. Let's see, you are both gonna die. Might not be today, might not be tomorrow, but soon. Except for you, you die now.
You were in life, you will be worth something in death.
Yeah, one of the terrible things about the Banshee is she just ain't got no... Oh. Well, if I had any spells, then yeah. That'd be useful. Absorbing fear. Heal your sanity damage. Let's see. I think we'll just do a volley. Or crit.
Predictable outcome.
Oh, we got brains, which will instantly level up minions to the indicated level. Which is a good idea because we gotta start replacing some of our minions. So, brains. Minion upgrades. Minions evolve and can be improved in multiple ways. Leveling grants the minion stats and skill points. Every level a minion gets 2 stat points for improved stats. Every third level, a minion gets 1 skill point for upgrading abilities. Using parts of higher quality grants a minion additional stat points. Parts grafted into a minion can be improved via the Digger's Souls. Items provide your minions with additional features. Receiving buffs, debuffs from minions items doesn't trigger any effects. And finally, crafting a brain instantly gives a minion additional experience points. So you can see here, our Bride of Iratus is level 2. But if we were just gonna kinda sorta replace the current item, the previous item will be lost. And that instantly levels her to level 6, giving her additional skill points all along the way. Well, not all along the way. We can essentially get 2 that we can upgrade at this point. Which, I think... stun the target, bosses are immune. This will also increase their separate stats based on what you see here. So some of them will increase your luck, some of them will increase your attack power, some of them increase your evasion, and so on and so forth. I think for Chest Piercer, we'll go with Heart Piercer.
Prove yourself worthy.
Doesn't increase the damage, just increases the critical hit. And then she's got a second one, so we will... Warning Shot's been a really good ability. Target can't move, interrupt stances. That's pretty good. Ooh, no, adore him. It'll increase her attack power by 14 and dread by 14 until the battle ends.
Expect results.
Let's see. Yep, there's abilities. Okay, and then there's her stats. I don't remember this being a thing, but it's a thing. So I suppose if we want to focus on her Chest Piercer ability, we would want more luck. And remember, each point increases the costs further. So if we wanted to give her, say, a bit of block, it would cost 10 points, but health would only cost 2. So on and so forth. So we're going to raise... Oh, wow. luck went up exponentially. Never mind. In which case, I think I want to just raise her attack power by that again, and then accuracy by 1. The Banshee. She has 2 because she's only leveled up twice. So we will give her 4 dread. Naturally. And evasion. Evasion is good for her, seeing as she's not exactly the highest stat creature that we have. Umber will increase your accuracy by 5. Because being able to hit more often with your attacks would be good. 2 for you. Think flat health. Health and armor. Let's go with armor. Now, we have a second brain. At the start of each round, the minion receives 3 attack and 3 dread until the end of the combat. Can't stack more than 5 times. That is an item equipable, I believe. We can put them here in order to essentially give them more abilities. As far as I know, as long as they are placed in, they will stay there. So, you know, make up your mind. Before we go do anything more, though, we have 2 dudes who are pretty damn low on health. So I think I might make some more dudes. We got the Dark Knight, a manifestation of living void contained in a vessel of knightly armor. These necromantic soldiers are often seen leading the armies of undead against the civilizations of mortals. Where they learn the skill to do battle and wage war is unknown, but all of them despise existence and seek to reduce everything to nothing.
Every war needs its generals.
Indeed. I don't think I have enough good stuff in order to make a vampire. But I kind of am interested in a headhunter. A headhunter is a very specific manifestation of negative emotion, blind rage. As such, the resulting undead possesses immense power but becomes rather difficult to control. They are still the minion of choice for any necromancer who prefers hearing the dying screams of their enemies over the chatter of the supposedly silent dead. 8. We'll make that one. Yeah. We now have the Dark Knight. His abilities, deals additional damage equal to 80% of the sum of the Dark Knight's armor and resistance. So this gets stronger with the higher his armor and resistance comes. Stress attack deals an additional 4 damage for each buff or debuff on the target. That's pretty cool. Dark Tithe removes all debuffs from the Dark Knight, and Iratus gains Wrath and mana back. This is actually pretty cool, because pretty much you can just have him take a bunch of debuffs and just go Iratus and say, hey, here, have some Wrath. Yes. Futile hopes. Stance. Each time an enemy receives a buff, the Dark Knight deals 8 to 9 stress damage to it. Unfeeling aggression. Move up 3 from the back row. Deals 80% damage to the enemies on the chosen position and the next position in line, and a critical hit will deal 400% of the damage dealt. And then Abyssal Hunger. All enemies lose 12 vigor. The Dark Knight recovers an amount of vigor equal to the damage dealt, and it will ignore ward. That's a heckin' good one. And then we can rename, dismiss, switch their skins, which if you have certain, what's the word I'm looking for? DLCs, the skins will differ pretty greatly. There's one called, there's a Halloween one that I really wanted to use, but I don't remember if I had it or not. And then the Headhunter, which, surprisingly, does not have a head. That's a joke. He makes sense in it. Yeah. Dual Slash randomly attacks 2 enemies, dealing 80% damage. Physical attack to the back 3 rows, Damage to a random enemy, moves it to the first position, ignores block. Deals 150% to a random target, moves the target to a random position. Seething Wrath. Trap. Marks selected position. At the beginning of the next turn, the Headhunter deals 150% physical damage to an enemy at the marked position. The attack doesn't spend an action. The Headhunter doesn't miss this attack. That's pretty heckin' good. Bloody Harvest deals 60% damage to each enemy. And then Bounty moves him up to targets any space, deals 250% damage to a single target. Ignores block. That's pretty good. So we can see that he tends to favor the front line, with only one thing that makes it so as he would favor the back. So for the moment, we're going to replace the skeleton with him. And then the Dark Knight also seems to favor the front line instead of the back. So we will currently replace our zombie with the Dark Knight. Now this is so as our allies that have taken damage will in fact gain back some of that vigor that they've lost from combat. Now let's see. To battle or cultists. Ooh, random consumables are minion specific items. We'll go with squad 1. Choose a gift. Increases critical damage dealt by the Bride of Iratus by 50%. Banshee restores 20% of vigor each time an enemy misses attack against her. Oh, mana and wrath restored each time the Dark Knight receives damage. Then the Headhunter deals an additional 5% chance to kill an enemy with any attack except bosses. That's actually pretty good. Just a 1 in 20 chance is just dead. But I do believe that in the longer run, Heart of Emptiness, because that will grant us more wrath or more abilities. Boop. There we go. You know, how's that? I do not believe we can remove it. So the minion receives. That's tempting to put on him, but he is very much more, very much more of a tanky character. So, oh, we also got another talent. Yeah, we got another talent point. Heck. Now we'll save it. And we've got another battle ahead. We gotta always choose our squad now that we have multiple undead on our side. Or at least more than 4. Let the slaughter commence. Alright, Mr. Headhunter, show your worth. We will start with a Seething Wrath, I think. Right there. Oh, yes, I love it. No, all allies gain stuff. And now you, my good friend. Stare down, tithe. Just gonna go for a good old clean old swing. Oh no, debuff. My accuracy, how dare. Move, steal damage. We'll just go for a good old heart piercer for the dude in the back. Ow. How dare. Yep, that's at the start of the turn. Go ahead and throw a catch 'em. Get over here. And then we'll finish them.
Become part of the breathless tide.
I suppose I should make another minion to replace my Banshee for the time being, too. Well, not time being, but you know what I mean. That's you, my good sir. I was gonna do it for the headhunter, but it wasn't the headhunters, so yes. Deals only 2 damage, but targets skip their next turn. Not terrible, but well, deals 42 to 85 damage. Good chance to kill most of these guys. Or I can just do a good old bloody harvest. Do 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 do. Death comes for everyone. Ah, here we are.
This is my kind of entertainment.
Huh. Hell of a miss. Ah, that good old armor absorb. I gotta love that whiff. Just saying. Alright, now there's a little bit more merit to this, because this essentially gives me a whole ass turn to do whatever the hell I please. I would do the dual slash, but alas. Yeah. How did you miss a stunned opponent, sir?
Good, good. More materials. Ooh, I didn't think it would be this easy.
Be surprised how easy to kill the mortal. Skip to turn. Now we're gonna go for a Soprano, just in case he survives the round. Let's see. Oh god. Or I could just stress attack him, but I think I'll go with a bloody harvest. Because this guy is more than likely gonna die by physical damage than anything. Wow. 1 HP. Wow. I really gotta remember just to have her constantly buff people.
As your suffering ends, your service begins.
Ah, finally get some Digger's Souls. Excuse me, I had to cough. Construct a building in the graveyard. After obtaining freedom, Iratus turned his prison into a base of operations. Graveyard buildings require minions and a special resource in order to construct them. Digger's Soul. Oh yeah, we got a bunch of different things that we can unlock here. And each one of them requires a bit of the Digger's Souls that we've been digging up. And then one creature to run them. Oh, excuse the yawning. For example, Obelisk gathers wandering souls. Every minion next to it generates some souls. Neat. Got the library. Each minion studying ancient books gives Iratus 40 experience points and 8% of the experience from the current level. Applies after the victory, and we could throw our current Dark Knight in there, but I don't like him right now. We got a statue to Iratus that will provide 10 mana for each minion. Mortuary. Powerful aura of undeath restores 100% vigor. That's actually not a bad one. Actually not a bad one at all.
A fully constructed morgue is not just a place to restore my minions to fighting strength. It can hold them in stasis, preserve for eons until they hear their master's call.
Sweet. So, Any minion that we put into here will instead be restored to 100% vigor, which is awesome. And then we can increase the amount of slots by putting more of our minions into there. Different varieties of them, if you will. We got excavation, 50% chance to find for each minion working at the excavation bit to find a random part. Needs a skeleton. Yeah, he's a little preoccupied. Dead lake. Peer into the dead waters. Each minion has a 11% chance to find a random artifact. And this requires a banshee. Now, seeing as our banshee has kind of been on the down and down.
The entity below seems to have developed a new attachment to me. To lay eyes on its full form would be to invite madness, so I'm content to occasionally give it a pat on the tentacle.
We got the Abode of Wrath. Each minion of the Abode of Wrath gives Iratus 20 wrath at the beginning of a battle. Let's see, we've already checked out the obelisk, the library. There's a lot of these little things that we can do. The arena. Training of the arena, minions gain 10 experience points and 45% of the experience from the current level. And we just need a zombie for that. But we are currently running low a little bit on parts, so we should probably make ourselves a new dude. How about a werewolf? The guards of the underground prison used to hound prisoners for fun. It was particularly fashionable to bet on which one of the poor souls would be torn apart first by the raging war dogs. But a flesh-based diet, however nutritious, was not healthy for the creatures, and some of them died from gluttony. Well, now their pet cemetery serves the Necromancer, who revives the ugly beasts, craving to tear out their former masters' throats.
You will bring me their heads, their hearts, and everything else.
And this is the werewolf. Pretty gnarly. Now, they have a pretty good attack there. High initiative. They do not seem all that defenseful, so they are very much a run in and do as much damage as possible thing. And they have a regeneration feature. At the start of each turn, restores 20% of their vigor. That's pretty neat. Physical attack deals damage twice, 50%. Curse of Madness. The werewolf gains 15% luck and 15% critical hit strength for 2 turns. Other minions receive 10 luck and 10% critical hit strength for 2 turns. That's ridiculous. That's cool. Hunting Down. Oh, he can attack from anywhere and hit the back line for 150% damage. Tear Up. Deals only 25% damage, but the target loses all armor and resistance, and it will ignore block. Ambush. At the beginning of the next turn, the werewolf deals 300% physical damage to any enemy at the marked position and moves to the first position. Attacks don't spend an action, werewolf doesn't miss, and 1 target per round. New Moon. Starting in next round, werewolf receives an additional action for 2 turns. That's pretty heckin' cool. That's pretty heckin' neat. So he's pretty viable in the 3rd slot here. The only things he can't do would be Tear Up, and that's it. Which I don't mind, because Tear Up is very much a, yeah. Let's see. It wants us to go to Alchemy. Oh boy. Iratus is proficient in several alchemical principles. Transmutation, transformation of one type of parts into another. Distillation, spin parts, brains, or items to gain vigor for minions. Extraction, crafting items from available parts. And calcination, spin parts, brains, or items to gain mana for Iratus. Okay, so this is how we would want to heal people. So we spend 3 resources. Yeah. Don't know if I would want it to be my armor. Does it have to be my armor? No, it doesn't have to be armor. Craft.
Ah, the smell of successful alchemy. Ugh.
Which I really wanted to do for the bride because she's actually particularly strong. Extraction will make it so as a piece will actually become... Have to be that? That's weird. Same type and rarity to a new item. Oh, okay, here we are. So if we wanted to make a etched bones, we would need bones. If we needed soul gem, increases strength damage dealt by 10%. Oh lord, you tease me. I would love to have it so as all damage or chances of crits are increased. But a misery cord would be neat. How much do we have for weapons? But yeah, we also got transmutation, which will take the next available upgrade for a piece of equipment and have a chance to increase it to the next strata, as it were.
Behold my work.
Oh, that's how it's like, behold my work, and then I don't see the work. Confusion? Did it just consume 3 of my things? Because what it is that if I get bones, and I fill it with ectoplasm, higher Iratus' level and part quality, the chance of getting it uncommon or better. I think it just gave me 1 ectoplasm for that. Yeah, some of these is a little bit eh. I don't need to do any more of that. Extraction might be good though, simply because, you know, increases the physical damage by 10%.
It's no gold, but it will do.
Let's give that to the bride. This concludes the tutorial. Good lord, that's a long, lengthy tutorial. You can continue the current game on Cakewalk, or restart on More Pain, or Good Always Wins difficulties. I just gave my bride a new weapon. Oh yeah, that is the tutorial for this. Now I'm pseudo tempted to go to the next level, or the next difficulty upwards. However, I've already gone like an hour 10 minutes into this, so I think I will continue on Cakewalk because I also like to have fun. But I'm gonna go ahead, call an episode here. When we return, Iratus continues his reign of undeath on unsuspecting mortals. Also, we got some talent points to spend. Do that next time. Thank you everyone so very much for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying this series as much as I hope to enjoy playing it. And as always, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Take care. Cheers.